Okay, so in this video, we're going to be breaking the exact strategy which TGR Trades is currently using to make over $500,000 per month with his audience. Now, before I tell you about the strategy and funnel and everything that he's using, you first need to understand what he's sort of selling. So TGR Trades, as it kind of says in the name, what he's doing is he's selling an offer where he's helping you become a profitable trader and sort of have it as a full-time gig. So he's pretty much targeting aspiring and, in terms of aspiring, getting people to actually become interested in trading and actually want to trade, and then existing traders who are already trading but maybe not that good at it or just like not profitable in general. So before I tell you about what he is doing, I need to tell you what he's not doing, because most people get this wrong and I've just seen this so many times, and we just need to get this out of the way. So he's not running a school community, he's not running a paid Discord community through Warp, and he's not selling a mid-ticket online course. Instead, they're pushing a $4,000 high-ticket mentorship, simply because high-ticket offers are a lot more profitable, and high-ticket offers are just usually offers that cost $1.5K and up. And the most popular sort of offer to sell as a high-ticket offer is a mentorship, because you can usually charge between $4,000 and $6,000. And to sell this mentorship that they're selling for $4,000 and sell a bunch of it because they're making $500K a month, they need to have proper systems in place. And these are the systems that I've broken down in this video. I'm going to be talking about how he's generating traffic, so how he's getting as many people to see his trading content as possible, then how he's generating interested leads, so all the people who are seeing his trading content, how he's actually getting them interested into whatever he's selling, which in this case would be the $4,000 trading offer, and then the last step of converting these interested leads and actually having a killer sales process to actually sell all of these leads onto his trading program, right? So let's start at the very beginning with generating traffic, because without traffic, this whole entire thing wouldn't work. If nobody knew what he was selling, nobody would buy it. So this is the most important step of the entire process. So let's start at Instagram. He has his main account, 400,000 followers, really solid stuff. And then he has his backup account with around 80,000 followers. Now, on his main account, what he's doing is he's pretty much posting 2 posts a day, and he's super consistent with it. And what he's doing with these posts is he's posting educational content, which gets the viewers to like and trust him, right? And with his backup account, what he's doing is their memes, their top of funnel content, generate traffic and, push people towards educational content, because these reels, they usually perform pretty well, but they're just to get people into the door, right? They're just to get people to sort of see him, consume a little bit of his content, right? These aren't really that educational. They're just to get people to see him enough times until they're curious and they click onto his main page where he talks about educational content on trading, right? So this is just to get people to know him, and then the other 2 steps are to like and trust him. Now, on his main account, he has these story highlights, which are super important for the strategy to work, because what he's doing with these story highlights is he's building undeniable proof that trading actually works and that what he's teaching actually applies into the real world. And whenever they're actually launching one of these programs, they can run a super simple process, which I'm going to run you through in just a second after I talk about what he's doing for Twitter. So on Twitter, it's also super simple strategy. They're doing 1 to 2 posts per day, and he's pretty much just trying to acquire traffic with these posts. So he's talking about the trades that he's making, and they're doing really well in terms of traffic, right? They're all educational content, and all of this traffic which he's getting through Twitter, he's pushing into a 22-minute VSL that we have over here. And the VSL just applies to all of the offers that he's running. And whenever he's running a new offer, he can just change up the link. So it's super simple for him. And on YouTube, he has a pretty large channel. As you can see here, 260,000 subscribers. And he's using one of the best strategies that you can use right now, sort of like October, like Q4 time, YouTube 2024. What he's doing is no fancy thumbnails like he used to do, pretty long form videos, as you can see, 20 minutes, 13 minutes, 7 minutes, and they're actually doing really well in terms of getting views. And all of these views, first of all, are building undeniable proof, because he's actually showing the trades that he's doing, and he's not only showing his wins but also losses, which also builds that extra trust. But he's also doing a really good job at nurturing them with this long form content, right? They get to know, like, and trust him a lot better through 20-minute content rather than, I'd say, 1 or 2 minute content that they'd otherwise see on Instagram. And other than that, for trading, I've seen a bunch of guys in the trading niche also doing this, is the affiliate links, right? Affiliate links are super important. They're talking about trading brokers, prop firms with 100% payouts, and, you know, starting their own online business at Warp, because I know Warp is also doing pretty good affiliate marketing. They have a pretty good affiliate marketing system. And next, I want to talk about Kick, because lately he's been spending a stupid amount of time on Kick. If you follow him on Instagram, you'd see his story. He's live on Kick pretty much every day. And you think, okay, is he getting lazy? Is he just, you know, trying to build a new income off of Kick? But the truth is that he's building a stupid amount of undeniable proof. Because if you're sitting there watching him actually trade in real time and he's making money in real time, that's not something that you can fake, right? So what this is doing is it's pretty much saying what I'm teaching actually works, and here's the proof. And inside of the chart, if you've ever seen any of these streams, which I actually checked out when I was going onto his page, is you click on the screen and the main screen just has the video right here, right? So this is the video, whatever. And on the side over here, there's sort of like a chat. So let me put this into green. It's sort of going to be a little bit of a chat. And in this chat, what he's doing is he's pushing all of his affiliate programs in the chat, including his mastermind. So this would be his high ticket offer. This is the main thing that they're pushing, but they're also, you know, posting donations or use code TGR Trades at rubets.com, for example, as affiliate marketing, or use TGR's broker here. So it's all pretty much just pushing affiliate links, which are also helping him build that extra income. And what he's doing with all of this traffic is, sure, cool, he's getting a bunch of people to see his content, but he actually needs them to get interested into whatever he's selling. And he has a really, really good system in place for that. And if you're curious if I missed this, no, I'm going to cover this right here, because this applies to all of these things that are going on up here. So let me just change back to a black marker and let's continue the process. So he's using a tons of lead magnets in between all of these launches that he's having. Okay, let's say they launch a mastermind, but in between, while they're actually getting these results for the students, all he's doing is he's pushing these lead magnets, which, you know, he's had a bunch more lead magnets. These are just the only more lead magnets that he's sort of like still pushing onto his pages. But I'm sure he's had a bunch more lead magnets in the past. So first off, we have the beginner guide to trading, which is exactly what it says that it is. It's just a beginner guide to trading in 2024. And we have his Discord server with nearly 50,000 members. And here's what I found super, super interesting for his Discord server. And if you're a trader who wants to sell coaching, I would recommend copying this, because this is actually pretty genius. And I haven't seen this in any other Discord servers before. So usually, okay, there's like some application form or whatever. But with here, you're actually joining the server, so you're making the first amount of effort. And when you're in the server, you're like, okay, I've already spent like 15 or 20 seconds on the loading screen, because, you know, joining Discord servers is usually quite time consuming depending on the laptop you have. I have an M3 MacBook Pro and it took me like 15 seconds. So like they usually take a while to load up. And when you're in the Discord server and you've already put in like a little bit of effort, only then are they going to ask you for your first name, email, and phone number. And if you don't give it to them, you can't access the server. You're only going to have access to the verification, to sort of like the verification channel. And as soon as you've completed this, and as soon as you've given up your first name, email address, and phone number, you get access to the rest of the server. So he has 50,000 members inside of the Discord server, and he's also been pushing a bunch of other lead magnets. I could safely assume that he has around 100,000 people on his email list. So he's generating a bunch of leads through these lead magnets. So what is he actually doing when he's rolling out new coaching programs? Well, this is exactly what we're going to be talking about here, because this is one of the main strategies that he's been using time and time again for every single coaching program which he's been launching. And if you're a coach, creator, or influencer, This is probably one of the most efficient strategies you can use to actually roll out an info product and make the maximum amount of money possible. So let's get straight into it. First of all, he's, through these lead magnets, he's acquiring. Okay, so just really quickly, just to be completely transparent with everybody watching this video, every coaching offer, every coach, creator, or influencer selling a coaching offer needs a different process or funnel. Yes, if you want to make some money, you can just copy the exact strategies which I'll be showing you in this video and implement them for yourself. But if you want to maximize the earning potential, then you need a funnel tailored to your audience. For example, I worked with my client Andrew, and this is the funnel that we put together for his audience and that I've actually implemented for him to generate money. But this is the funnel that I put together for my client Reese, which is completely different, right? They don't look similar at all, right? I'll say it again, they're completely different, but they also don't have the same audience. So if I just implement the same funnel for both of them, would make a lot less money. You need to have the exact process, right? You need to have all of these processes dialed in, getting traffic, generating interested leads, converting interested leads. And if you're a coach, creator, or influencer, I would love to get on a call with you and brainstorm processes which you could implement. I know this isn't going to be like a sales call. You're genuinely going to be getting a ton of value from me directly throughout the entire call. And if at the end of the call, you like the ideas which we brainstorm, you can just go and steal them for yourself free of charge, or you can work with me on a performance basis where I implement all of these processes for you, right? So if at the end of the call, you feel like you haven't got enough value from me and you've wasted your time, I'll pay you $100 for wasting your time on the spot, not in 3 or 4 business days, on the spot, right there on the call, for wasting your time and it's pretty much just making the call completely risk-free on your end. So if you want to get on the call with me and brainstorm ideas, DM me the word grow on Instagram and we'll schedule one out. If you don't know how to find my Instagram, it's alexi.archived. You can find it in the link in this description. It's going to look something like this. You can click on it and you'll get onto my page. If you can't DM me for whatever reason, just comment under this post and I'll DM you first. So super excited to speak, and back to the video. A ton of leads. So what he's doing with these leads is obviously he has the email list for all of these emails, and on day one he can have the initial story. So let's start at the very bottom just with the Instagram sequence right here, because Instagram is a super powerful platform when you're just launching these sort of like these launches, and then we'll talk about emails and cold calling and the rest of the process. So he starts with the initial story. It's going to be an initial story sequence. He's just going to be saying like, yo, we're rolling out this program and I'm just letting you know that it's coming. It's preparing, just building a little bit of hype. Then day one, story post, just giving out a ton of value. It doesn't have to be a story sequence. You're not trying to sell them. You're just building a little bit of sort of like engage story viewers if you haven't done that already. So it's going to be one post with actual valuable content, like actual valuable content, not just generic stuff that ChatGPT wrote up, valuable content that they'd pay $5 or $10 for it to get access to, and 2 lifestyle pictures. And you're going to follow this process for day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. Right? So at this point, you have all of the hype built out, and I'm going to talk about what they're doing in terms of email sequences to build hype, since we're already on the topic of building hype. So in terms of the email list, we're pretty much going to be doing the exact same thing. We're going to be hyping up the email list with a bunch of valuable emails. No call to actions. You're not trying to sell them on anything. It's genuine value. And these emails, you can let them be long. People will read through them if the value is actually there. Each email, you should be able to sell for at least $25. Something that you wouldn't feel bad for selling $25 for, right? These have to be genuine good emails to build trust. And again, you're going to repeat this process for day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4, right? And at this point, we've built up a ton of hype. So let me just put the green marker. You have a bunch of leads at this point who would buy if you have the correct process in place. And now we just need to do the right job at converting them. So let's start at Instagram. Day 6, we're going to roll out an Instagram story sequence, which if you don't know what a story sequence is and you've never seen any of my videos before, I'm going to break that down quickly down here in just a second. But These are super powerful for Instagram, and if you're not doing these, you're totally missing out. So stay tuned for that, because I'm going to break that down probably in like a minute or two. So we're going to roll out day 6 IG story sequence, then day 7 IG reel for lead generation, then day 8 we're going to be doing the exact same thing, IG reel for lead generation. And then also what you could also probably do is add in a story sequence if you want to. If at that point you're, for whatever reason, you don't have enough leads for the launch, I would add in a story sequence, but I wouldn't rub it down their throat way too hard. And then day 9 IG reel for lead accumulation, and that should probably be enough for the launch. Now these 4 days, actually, forget what I said with not rubbing it down their throat. These 4 days, like, you don't need to rub it down their throat like for a month or 2 months or however long you need to do it. You're just shoving it down their throats for 4 days. So as many people as you can talk to in these 4 days, as many people that you can, as many story sequences. Now I wouldn't post more than 1 story sequence per day for these 4 days, but as much traffic that you can get onto your offer for 4 days, even if it would be as a long term, it would be killing your audience. For 4 days, it's not going to do any harm, and you're going to make a ton of money in these 4 days. So 4 days long, you're just straight going to be pushing the offer, and then you're going to go back to your usual after these 4 days. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is, well, first of all, here, what I forgot to mention before is with these story posts, you don't completely have no call to action at all. What you can also call to action to, if you want to be extra with it, is you can push the email list in these story sequences, right? And the reason you might want to push the email list if you maybe have a smaller audience. Okay, so let's just put it this way. The more content that they consume, the easier they are to sell to. So if they're consuming this amount of content, sure, they will be easy to sell to. But if they're consuming both, they're going to be even easier to sell to. So if they can consume both for this 4 day sort of like hype up, that would be, they're going to be a lot easier to sell to, and your closing rate will be a lot higher. Let's just put it like that. So after that, what I also want to talk to you about is these daily emails pushing the launch with a call to action and proof at the end. So these daily emails, they're going to be the same as the reels. We're going to be relentless. We're not doing that much value anymore. All we're doing is it's a simple call to action every single day for 4 days straight. Now you don't want the same email for 4 days straight. You want to get a little bit creative with it, but these 4 days, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be emailing everybody on the email list with just the call to actions with different proof. And by proof, I mean case studies, so previous student results. And if you don't have any student results, what you can also do is you can show your own transformation as a result, right? So for example, in TGR's case, he went from an unprofitable trader to a profitable trader, and that was his transition. So he can just talk about that. And if you're your only case study and you don't have different sort of like student reviews that you can push out every single day where you're pushing out sort of like the launch, I would talk about your own stories of how you went from unprofitable to profitable every single day. And I'd want to have these planned out, and you're going to want to keep these brief. You want to keep these super short. They're already nurtured through this whole entire system right here. The hype is already there. All you need to do is convert them, right? You don't want to overcomplicate this part of the process. And lastly, if you want to be extra on top of this and you really want to make a lot of money on the launch, and you're going to need infrastructure for this. If you're doing all of this, you're going to need some infrastructure. So you'd need someone else helping you. For example, like me, if you want to pull off a launch like this, because no one can do a launch like this themselves. You could try, but I would doubt you could successfully do it. Some things will go wrong. So you'd probably need someone helping you, especially if you want to add this on top and make the real money. For example, having a cold calling all of these leads and being like, yo, I saw that you were interested in trading. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Nurturing them through that conversation. And at the end of the conversation, being like, yo, if you actually want help with this, we can totally get onto a little bit of a longer call and go a little bit deeper into this, right? And you can use this to book tons of calls. And in TGR's case, as I mentioned before, he probably has an email list of over 100,000 people. And he's not just asking for emails, right? He's also asking for phone numbers. That means he also has a phone number list of over 100,000 people. And he couldn't just have one cold caller on this offer. I'd probably say between 10 and 20 cold callers for an offer like this, just hammering 10 hours straight per day, having 20 cold callers. Be like, yo, same script, over and over and over again, just absolutely booking tons of sales calls. Now, obviously, this is more high level stuff, but even if you're a smaller influencer, I would still recommend having these cold cold calling at the launch, right? At the launch, these 4 days that you're having the launch at, you absolutely want to shove it down your audience's throat that this launch is happening. Now, as I mentioned before, let's talk a little bit more about these actual story sequences. So what is a story sequence? Well, a story sequence is pretty much, just think of it as a reel, right? So usually a reel has 4 parts to the reel. So it has the hook, as every reel does. It has a story of like the actual real story, the proof that the story works if you have a good reel, and then you have a call to action at the end to whatever you want the viewer's next step to be, right? It's essentially the same, just not in a video, in text form, and it's specifically designed for the viewers to take the next step, aka sort of like the call to action, and buy something, and not just to give them value in the reel. For example, DM me the word, or click the link in the description, or watch this video sales letter, or whatever it could be, right? And these are super simple to pump out, and they're super effective. All of the clients that I've been working with, they've always done super well. I've had VSLs generate tens of thousands of dollars alone. So you don't want to be missing out on the story sequences. And in terms of reels, at the launch, we're talking launch specifically, otherwise you want to give value, but launch reels specifically, they're not just to give value, but actually to get the viewers to buy and take the next step, which would be the call to action, right? Again, call to action examples: DM the word or comment the word, click the link in the description, watch the VSL, whatever it could be. And with all of this, we're pushing all of these leads into a type form, super simple type form. You don't want to overcomplicate it, like in this website, which I'm going to break down in a second. And from this type form, we're qualifying the leads. So I don't want to overcomplicate it for you guys. Let's talk about this type form right here real quick. Please do not overcomplicate this part of the process. Everybody makes it so much harder for themselves than it actually is. You can make a super simple type form. Literally just a few simple questions, qualifying questions. The main qualifying questions would be how much money they sort of have, because you only want to be speaking to people with money. Otherwise, you're sort of wasting your time, especially for these higher ticket offers. And he's also, on top of this, right, he doesn't just have the launch, but he actually has a website to make all of this look professional, and that he can actually just like push the traffic into and get instant responses because the VSL is doing most of the talking. So let's break down this website real quick. He has his quick countdown, which is pretty much saying, okay, the launch is going to be 28 days long, and that's the 28-day launch. But you mainly just want to push it for 4 days, and then just have this website up after it, just to collect the rest of the leads that may come through a little bit later. Then simple, really simple actually headline: welcome to the blueprint for profitability. Rewire your brain and level up your trading. Learn the new way hundreds of traders are becoming profitable in 2024. I like how he's talking about it being 2024 and actually something recent and up to date. Then he has a super simple VSL over here, followed with a few reviews from the WAP, the Discord server that he used to run. Enter your site, enter your details here. I like this because he's also building more for the email list and more people he could sort of cold call after this. And then from here, when they click join the mastermind, they're just going to be redirected to this type form over here. Again, super simple type form. Type form subscription is like $10 a month. So please do not overcomplicate this part of the process. Then he's just giving them a little bit more of the process, how the mastermind actually works, again with a call to action, and then proof. The only thing that I would change on this website is I'd probably add a little bit more proof, because I know TGR, he 100% has the proof. He's been running the Discord server for forever. So I would definitely put a little bit more proof into here. Again, followed with a call to action, which I think is cool. And then FAQs for the program, followed with another call to action, which I think is awesome. So let's talk about the last step of actually converting these interested leads. Because what I've broken down over here, we're swimming in leads after you follow this process. Like, you're gonna have so many leads after you follow this process. But at this point, like, he's been able to generate I've already mentioned this, there should just be so many interested leads at this point. But the whole entire process would fall apart unless he had a killer sales process. Not just a normal sales process, not just a process that he put a few appointment setters and closers together that he found in like 20 minutes and interviewed once. We're not doing that. We want a killer sales process to close as many deals as possible. Now, first of all, to have a killer sales process, every high ticket offer needs to have the correct metrics so that they know exactly how many calls they need to hit to essentially hit their targets, right? You don't want to freestyle this process. You're going to be like, okay, I need to get 100 calls next month in order to generate $300,000 or whatever it could be, right? So to do this, I have, if you guys are interested, I actually have this spreadsheet which I'm using for my clients right now. You can get it, link in the description. It's probably going to be the second or third link in the description, depending on how I frame the description of this video. But it's going to be completely free. You can take it. I don't really care. It should help you a lot. Then, obviously, feeding all of these leads to the right closer. And here's a pro tip if you're just starting out or maybe a little bit of a smaller influencer. If you can get onto the sales calls as the creator yourself, your closing rate will absolutely skyrocket. And if you have the correct, but it won't just skyrocket just like that. You need to have the correct closing script in place. And that's super important, which, you know, if you don't have a good closing script in place and you're freestyling these calls, they're just not going to go well. And you know, you could get a killer closing script by working with someone like me. So I'm going to plug myself again. For a call with me, link in description. I'll give you my closing script for free if you book in. Next, we have a pre-call sequence to actually get these leads to show up. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've seen me talk about this. A killer sales process is absolutely essential if you want to actually be converting these leads. Again, you can let the sequence nurture these leads before the call, right? Actually get them to know, like, and trust you before the call. So first off, we're going to hit them with a pre-call sales asset, Q&A, call confirmation, SMS and email. Then a DM, you can do what you really want to do with the DMs, but you know, I would essentially just go for something with WhatsApp or Instagram or whatever it could be. Then 24 hours before the call, unreleased case study video plus video call reminder. 12 hours before the call, cold outreach strategy video plus call reminder. 6 hours before the call, service delivery video plus call reminder. So how you're actually getting to the process. In TGR's case, service delivery video would pretty much be like, this is how I made 30K in one day trading stocks. And it'd pretty much just be breaking down the strategy that he's using to pretty much make these trades. Then 1 hour before the video, I just have sales call script because this was from something else, but something that could just help them. For example, here it could maybe be some free application which they can use, or a spreadsheet to track their trades. And then plus a call reminder. You're always going to want to have a call reminder with these sort of like links that you're feeding them. Then 5 minutes before the call, you're going to want another call reminder. And then when the call actually starts, you're going to want a call has started reminder. And with this, you can close a ton of deals. Like this process, a big mistake which most people make is that they just overcomplicate the entire process. And you really don't have to do that, because you can see with a simple funnel like this, he's making $500,000 a month. And I know this through contacts that I've spoken to, and I know that he is making $500,000 per month at minimum, especially with the audience that he has. So please don't overcomplicate it.